Let's read verses 8 through 11 of Jude, chapter 1. Yet indeed likewise also these people dreaming, indeed stain flesh, but they reject lordship, and blaspheme glories. But Michael the archangel, when truly judging himself from the devil, he used to truly speak concerning the body of Moses. He did not dare to carry a judgment of blasphemy upon the devil, but he said, May the Lord censure you. But these people blaspheme as many things as indeed they did not know, but as many things as they well know naturally, as wordless living beings, they are corrupted in these things. Woe to them, because they journeyed in the way of Cain, and they were poured out in the wandering of the compensation of Balaam, and they destroyed themselves in the contradiction of Kor. Now let's look at the study of these verses. Emphatically indeed, similarly, that is to what is written in verses 5 to 7 above in our previous session, also these people referred to in verse 4, dreaming, seeing things in sleep, information received solely from the fleshy mind and body during sleep, and figuratively in this context as daydreaming, imagining, fantasizing because of not being based on God's words or communications. They were dreaming. Indeed, on the one hand, they stain flesh. They tinge, color fleshy mankind with what? With something else that is not correct for human beings. But on the other hand, they reject lordship, put lordship from themselves. They unput, displace mastership or dominion from themselves, and blaspheme glories. They treat glories with lack of godly reverential respect. They are speaking evilly against them, calumniating the beings which are glorious, which have importance, splendor, renown, such as the true angels, the Lord Jesus Christ, and God himself. But what did Michael do? Michael, the archangel, the first, highest, chief, or ruling angel in God's kingdom, when truly judging himself from the devil, and that means while he was wholly distinguishing, discerning, separating himself, making his decision, differentiating himself, thoroughly judging himself to be different from the devil, he used to truly speak. Historically, during that past time that is now finished, Michael spent time conversing, discussing, having dialogue, speaking back and forth with the devil. About what? About the body of Moses, his dead body, Moses' dead body. He did not dare, Michael the archangel, did not dare or venture to bring or bear a judgment of blasphemy upon the devil. And the word judgment is the same as verse 6. It's the action of pronouncing sentence, consisting of, calumniation, evil speech, because it's a judgment of blasphemy. So it consisting of calumniation, evil speech, treating the devil in such a manner as to behave with lack of godly reverential respect for the only true God while doing so. Michael did not do that. But on the contrary, Michael said, May the Lord censure you. Michael's prayerful wish or desire was that God would inflict penalty or infringement, reprimand, judge by estimating the correct honor or value due in this situation, against or on the devil, which will be punishment at a future time for the offense committed by the devil. God buried Moses when he died via Michael. Refer to Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 4 to 6. But these people blaspheme. They are treating with lack of godly reverential respect. They're speaking evilly against, calumniating as many things are, or as much as, indeed, they did not know and continue not to know. They do not perceive. They do not see to the end of perceiving and knowing with their minds. But as many things as they well know, naturally, as much as they can fix or set their minds upon the knowledge of, as much as they are aware of physically, by using their natural physical capabilities, they are in comparison to wordless living beings. Living beings such as animals or birds which utter sounds that are without any meaningful account, no descriptive words, unreasonable, because they do not communicate with words, in comparison to wordless living beings. They are corrupted in these things. They are presently in the process of being caused to decay, made into a worse state within the sphere of action of what they well know naturally. Woe, regret, misery, distress to or for these people. Why? Because they journey. They passed or traveled through the everyday living of their lives in the way or the road of Cain. Cain's purpose, progress, the manner of action or method of proceeding that he had during his life, determining his own course of action instead of doing what God asked him to do. And you can refer to Genesis chapter 4 for details about what Cain did or did not do. And they were poured out, shed forth, as flowing liquid. How? In the wandering of the compensation of Balaam, the error, the action of leading astray. They were wandering, not staying in their rightful place relative to God's truth. This wandering is likened to Balaam's higher compensation, the wage due to him for doing what? For cursing God's people. The payment in return for his actions of misleading God's people. Balaam was supposed to speak forth God's words, being revealed to him concerning the past, present, or future, to or before or in front of the people at that time. But he was thinking of speaking something else instead of God's words, so as to receive payment. And look at Numbers chapters 22 to 24. And from this time onwards, Balaam had no excuse, as he was fully aware of God's displeasure at that kind of wrong behavior. And they caused themselves to be destroyed, utterly ruined, completely lost away from God. In, with, or by the contradiction of core, it can be spelled in a few different ways. His speech against Moses and God, the anti or opposing words that he spoke. Kor was of the Levitical background, and he was supposed to keep the instructions given to Levites by God, but he rebelled against Moses and against God. You could refer to Numbers chapter 16 for details about that. The word translated devil comes from the words through and throw or cast. The devil throws or casts things through people, like stabbing a person from outside through the person and out the other side. With what? With an accusation or a slander, endeavoring to break any connection between God and mankind. The devil is the chief of the devil spirits, demons, which are the other evil spirits in subordination to the devil. These spirits are evil because they willingly, actively, and malignantly went against, and they continue to go against what the only true God says and does. God has judged them, and the complete fulfillment of his judgment will come to pass at a future time. You can refer to Genesis chapter 3, verses 14 and 15, Isaiah chapter 14, Ezekiel chapter 28, 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 19 and 20, and of course Revelation chapters 12, 19, and 20, which are some of the prophecies that include information about the devil's past, present, and future.